Let's run through a scenario, okay? Completely hypothetical. Let's say you're home alone or working at the office late at night. Nobody else is there. It's just you and the silence. Let's say you get up to go to another room or walk to your coworker's office. You open the door and the room is pitch black. Maybe there are lights on in the hall, but for some odd reason none of it is spilling into the room. You're facing pure, inky blackness. You reach out and feel around. Your hand finds the light switch. One swift upward motion and the entire room will be filled with light. Do you keep your eyes open and turn on the light? Or do you shut your eyes tight then flip the switch, your body involuntarily flinching when you do so? I do the latter. Every single time. Pretty lame, huh? But I'm not afraid of the dark. I'm afraid of what I might see when the light comes on. I wasn't always like this. I swear. Okay, fine. Another hypothetical scenario. You're in your room, watching TV or surfing the web. You yawn because you should have been asleep hours ago. But your favorite show came on or you fell down a wiki hole and time just got away from you. Finally you manage to pry yourself away from whatever distraction is holding you. You turn off your TV or your computer monitor. You turn towards the window next to you. And there's somebody there, looking in. You can't see their features but what little light there is outside shows that there is clearly somebody pressed up against your window, hands cupped to their face so they can get a better look at you. Do you immediately turn on the lights? Won't that just make them harder to see and you that much easier to spot? Don't you wish you had closed your eyes before turning towards your window? Wouldn't it have been better just not knowing at all? You ever open your front door and expect to find somebody standing at your front porch, ready to rip the screen door open and grab you, dragging you out into the dark night to never be found again? Or have to sit with your back against the wall because you constantly feel like somebody is in the room with you, staring at you? Just waiting for that opportune moment to wrap their arms around you from behind and I sound paranoid, I know. But I have my reasons. It all changed the night of the power outage. One minute I was sitting on my recliner playing Civilization 6, the next my entire house was pitch black. I headed outside to see what happened. All of my neighbors' lights were out and in the distance I could hear sirens. A police cruiser was patrolling our neighborhood and I waved the officer down. He told me that some drunk driver had dozed off at the wheel, driven off the road and taken out a transformer. He said it wouldn't be until morning before the power company could get out there and repair the thing. Said I would be better off just going to bed for the night. I agreed and headed back inside to get some rest. Problem was, it was the middle of summer. The days had been getting up into the mid-90s and unfortunately the nights weren't much cooler. I tried to sleep but woke up around 3 a.m. nearly suffocating from the mixture of humidity and heat. I opened up most of the windows in the house, hoping to get a cross breeze going. But after another hour or so there hadn't been a single breeze. I was growing tired of pouring sweat and being permanently sealed to my sheets so I decided to head outside for some fresh air and a cigarette. The neighborhood was pitch black and deathly silent. I could hear light traffic a ways off, probably semi-trucks hauling freight up and down the main road not far from my house. But where I was it sounded more like the gentle, distant roar of an ocean. I took a deep breath, then pulled a cigarette from my pack and stuck it into my mouth. I fished the lighter out of my pocket, flicked it. And immediately a face was illuminated in front of me. Probably less than a foot away. Pale, eyes sunken in, mouth full of rotten teeth. It might have been human except it was incredibly gaunt and pointy, like the bottom half of it had been crushed with a vice. I only saw it for a flash, but I'll remember it for as long as I live. It puckered its lips and exhaled, blowing out the flame from my lighter. I shrieked, stumbling backwards. Not wanting to wait to see what happened next, I ran up into my porch, ripped open the screen door and ducked back into my house. I slammed the front door shut tight, securing the deadbolt with a trembling hand. I pressed my ear to the door and listened. For a moment all I could hear was my heart trying to beat its way out of my chest, my labored breathing. Then I heard the porch door slam shut. Maybe it was just closing after I ran back inside, maybe a gust of wind had finally kicked up and caught it. Maybe. The knob to the front door turned in my hand. I jumped back from the door. That thing was on the other side of the door, throwing its weight against it, trying to get in. I remembered that my windows were still wide open and began a mad dash throughout the house, closing and latching each one as fast as I could. I ran back to the living room, staring at the front door. The banging had stopped. The thing was gone, at least I had hoped it was gone. My bed sits underneath 3 bay windows. I can't say I was overly confident about sleeping with those windows looming over me. Even with the blinds drawn, the idea of my head being that close to them didn't fill me with comfort. Besides, I was pretty sure I wasn't sleeping for the rest of the night. I grabbed the largest knife I had from the kitchen, then went back to the living room and laid on my couch. I kept my eyes glued on the doorknob, waiting for it to turn. Waiting for that thing to burst into my house and get me. Finally morning came and I eventually passed out from exhaustion. When I woke up the power was back on, so I immediately turned on every light in the house. I've kept them on pretty much since then. Sure, my electricity bill has tripled. But in the scheme of things, it seems worth it. Suffice to say, I don't go out after night either. I just smoke indoors once the sun goes down. Yeah, I know. I should quit, but after all of that my nerves are fried and it'll be a while. That brings me to tonight. We've been having abnormally warm weather for this time of the year. Storm season has started up earlier than expected. Other counties have been experiencing roaming blackouts, and I know it's just a matter of time before a storm knocks out the power here as well. Until then, I keep this place lit up like a state fair. And whenever I do have to go into a dark room and turn on the lights, or I have to pass a window late at night, I always keep my eyes closed. Because I know it's out there, watching me. And sooner or later it won't be content with just watching. It'll reach out and grab and pull me into the darkness with it. And I sure as hell don't want to see it coming. Stay paranoid, my friends.